And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, will you believe?
Hey everyone, good evening. Is my volume on? Yeah, I got it on. You never know, sometimes we trip up on this technology. You know, I am just an old man. How is everyone tonight? I don't know if anyone's out there in chat yet. We'll find out. Sure it's going to get noisy. Friday night, 9:30 p.m. We're going live, trying to mix things up a bit, adding a little music to the program. I don't know if you can hear the music, but if you can, let me know. Alrighty. I see there was a few people waiting for the show to start, so hopefully you're on board. We're going to get going. Tonight's topic is making your life better, one small change at a time. Hence the title of the show, Better Than Yesterday. Because really, life's not a race. I mean, you don't want to race to the end of life. In fact, a lot of us just want this thing called life just to go on and on and on, right? Like it's not a race. So, today's show is about how can we finish the day off a little bit better than when we started. And it's just such a simple concept that people just throw to the side so readily when life gets busy. And I am probably extremely guilty of this, or I wouldn't have AFIB today. Just being honest with myself. But before I get into all that, what I'd like to do, oh, I see someone's in. Hey, Gail, welcome to the show. Yeah, here we are. Throw the comment on screen. Race to feel better. Yes, for sure. That's a good race to be in. That's a race with yourself, though. So today's topic's right on board with that. So before I get into it, though, I have for me, is a major milestone I want to share. And the channel hit 50,000 views probably 2 weeks ago, and I didn't notice because I don't often check the lifetime statistics. Because the story of my channel is actually 4 or 5 years old, and I had the name Big Northern Bear, and I already had this YouTube channel. And the reason I had it was sometimes I competed in powerlifting and I did feats of strength, and I wasn't like trying to broadcast it to the world. All my videos were unlisted, but I didn't have to store them on my phone. Like our phones didn't hold as much data back then. So I just threw them on YouTube and I had the list on my phone. And then if I was talking to another gym guy and we were like showing each other stuff, I could just, and it would be on YouTube. It wouldn't eat up any of the memory on my phone. So I had this channel and I named it Big Northern Bear, mostly because the name was available and sort of suited me at the time. And now I've grown into it. I really feel like it's me. And so my lifetime views before I started the AFib stuff were probably 75, and I just crossed 50,000. And thanks to all of you who actually watch my stuff, and all the people have been laying down comments and telling me they appreciate what I've been trying to do around here. And so just thank you all. I just feel so good. Just as I remember a couple months ago, I was sitting down, and we have a relative who actually became a famous singer and was discovered on YouTube. And I'm not going to get into names or anything. Um, but I said, what does it feel like when you got your first 1,000 views?" And she said it was like this huge deal. And I said, well, I'm sitting here right now. I'm at 998, and I got to 1,000 views. And I was so excited. Now I'm sitting here at 51,300 views. I'm just like, I didn't even notice it go by because I wasn't watching. And it just feels so good. So thank you all for putting that milestone in my life. So, um, and my whole approach to YouTubing is I knew nothing when I started. I'm extremely talented with computers and systems. So I just went out there and every video I just try to learn a little something. And I do the same with my diet. my exercise routine, and my approach to treating AFib. I just try to do something a little better, or if I recognize something's not working, I just try to tweak it. And so I try to bring that approach to my entire life. And I mean, I have a stack of certificates I've been laminating here for like quality and processes. I'm actually certified ISO 9001, 2015, 2011 auditor. Like if you ever seen those big manufacturing facilities, they'll have ISO certified on there. Well, I could actually go to one of those facilities and audit them and determine if they were actually ISO compliant. BRC, British Resource Council for Food, food transportation, food warehousing, food storage and distribution, and all the auditing procedures that go with that. And that was intense. So I come from like a process based background. Okay. And I was a quality manager of extremely large 3PL warehouse. And warehouses today, they're e-commerce driven. So it's all processes. My job now, I'm the project manager, and I've been re-engineering the processes at this software company I work with, and we're just finally getting to the point where a lot of the BS stuff is now automated, and programmers are able to focus on programming. Customer service reps are able to focus on customer service. So for me, it's very rewarding to see all these little changes just start to come together over time, no matter where you apply them to. You can certainly apply them to your life in atrial fibrillation and looking after your health. So, just as you can with trying to make better YouTube videos, or whatever it is you're trying to learn and get good at. I mean, repetition is only useful if you're looking back, seeing what you could improve, and on your next iteration, trying to add a little improvement. So just try to get a little better every day. Okay. So again, back to that, what this show's about. So I hit 50,000 views. I'm stoked. I've also set up email alerts. So if I post on a variety of platforms, and I'm trying to give people a consolidated way they can follow my content. So go to bignorthernbear.com and get on my email alerts, because there's going to be lots of bonus stuff for you. And the first thing you're going to get when you sign up is you're going to get a little bonus thank you video where I'm going to tell you all the bonus stuff that I'm going to do. One of those bonus things is I'm going to have meetups right here in this virtual studio. And we're not going to broadcast it. It's not going to go on the internet. But if you wanted, you could have a copy for yourself of the video. And I'm just going to invite 3 or 4 people from my mailing list just to join me in the studio for a chit chat on a Friday or a Sunday afternoon or something. And we can just shoot the breeze for half an hour. So that might be a lot of fun. You might enjoy that. So it'd be sort of like a virtual meet and greet. I'm also going to just give people advance notice on some videos, get to see them before the others. Okay, so be sure you go to bignorthernbear.com and sign up for the email alerts. It's painless, I promise. It's not a big spammy list. I'm not out to sell you stuff on Amazon. Okay. So today's show is better than yesterday. And today's show is all about just that constant improving, right? Um, and I sort of I like to learn from what other people put out into the world, because it's less painful for me if I can look at what someone's doing. And so I've been watching Big Sad is back in the saddle, man. He's hard at work in his truck. And this guy is a hustler. And actually, I I have experience in the trucking world, not as a driver, but I understand and have worked in that culture, and I have a lot of respect for Big Said and all the other truck drivers. They are hardworking, ambitious, people who really know. I mean, especially the ones that own their owner operators. They're hawks, man. They're out to be more efficient in their job, because their job is taxing, and so every mile on the road is a couple minutes less at home with the family. Every dollar they have to spend fixing their truck or on insurance is a dollar that comes out of their family's lifestyle, and they're hyper aware of that, and they work really hard so that they don't have to deal with that, right? So they want to minimize the losses, maximize the gains, and they're always looking for a way to do that. So, looking at Big Said recently, he's done some videos for other truckers, where he's talked about his insurance. And this brings me into a lesson I want to get into for now. And it's that opportunities are not a matter of luck. Okay. Everyone gets opportunities in their life. You might think, oh, this guy, he just gets all the breaks. Okay. I promise breaks come your way. What's different between the guy who can't get in on opportunity and the person who can is the person who did was ready and prepared for when opportunity came, and they were willing to go for it when the opportunity came. They didn't hesitate. Okay. So I'm going to use Big Sad here as an example. And I hope you're sleeping, man. I hope you're watching this in the morning. Okay. But I know you're tired. You've been working hard this week. I've been following you. But he's been hustling to get his insurance down. So a few months ago, I was watching his videos, and he was talking about just pay the whole year at once. So he's figured out if he's willing to pay his whole year of truck insurance up front, and truck insurance is crazy expensive. If he's willing to pay it up front, he can work out a better deal. So he planned to do that this year. Went around negotiating. He got a price, but now he's renegotiating. It's a new year, so he was ready for the opportunity when his insurance renewed. So the second lesson is capitalize on the opportunity. Okay. When you have an opportunity and you rise to meet it, you can usually do one better. You just have to look to see where. So again, I'm going to use his insurance as an example. So he went around this year and saved a bomb on his insurance. It sounds like he got it right about half. And I don't know what in the market drove that price discount, but he went and got really great rate. And the first thing he said is, "Now I'm going to visit one more insurance company and see if they can do even better." Because when you've got something locked in and you're in a good place, that's the time to negotiate for something better. No one's going to negotiate with you when you don't have other options. And life's the same way. Life doesn't negotiate with you when you have nowhere to go. Okay. Life only gives and becomes bendy and flexible when you have already a place to land. So if you don't have a soft place to land, that's your first priority is get a soft place to land. And when it comes to your health, that soft place is perhaps with AFib is where you can just stay in sinus rhythm rather reliably. And maybe you can just go for long walks and you get long walks nailed down and you get your diet nailed down to where you're mostly eating that unprocessed food and you just get those basics taken care of. You start doing that, you'd be shocked at the opportunities that start coming your way in terms of your health, in terms of medical personnel noticing you're doing this stuff. Now they're on your side, they become invested in your success. So, and a great example though of opportunities are these small little daily opportunities that come into our lives. Okay. So I'm gonna share a little video of Sets that he put up today. I'm just gonna share a little bit of it here. And let me bring it over. I've got it muted, but here's Seth. He's in his truck. Okay. He ended up waiting an hour or two or however long at this warehouse to get unloaded. This happens to truckers all the time. And I mean, you could because he knew that this happens frequently, he's prepared with exercise equipment. He's got a fridge with real nutritious food in the fridge. He's not buying no food off some coffee truck that pulls into the yard. I mean, he's prepared and ready. He was ready for the opportunity to work out, and now here he is working out with his free time. He's wearing his watch, checking his pulse, keeping his he's doing everything right. He's made his health a priority. So, you could do something quite similar by keeping in your car an extra set of walking shoes. Hey, you're stuck waiting for an appointment. Hey, they're going to be an hour late. Go for a walk. Okay. Um, keep your gym bag in your car. Keep healthy snacks in your house because, I mean, if you don't have good choices in your cupboards, it's really hard when the opportunity to snack comes along. You don't have the opportunity to make the healthy choice. You don't even have the opportunity, right? So, um, it's not all luck. It's a matter of being prepared. And there's also being prepared in another way of avoiding temptation. And with me, I asked my family to hide the peanut butter, so I don't know where it is. They're actually really good at hiding it because the kids sometimes like to have peanut butter, but for me, it's like that's my weakness, man. That's my kryptonite. So I don't have the bad opportunity to gorge on some peanut butter sandwiches because I don't even know where it is. And if I had to go in the store and go buy peanut butter, well, that's like just too much effort. I'm not going to do it. So that was the easy solve to my peanut butter problem. Okay. So let's go through this here. I have a couple other points I'd like to make on this whole subject. Yeah, carry a gym bag in your car, keep the healthy snacks. What about can't sleep? This is another one. I mean, for AFIBers, sleep is so important. So what happens? You lay in bed 20 minutes, you can't sleep, right? Well, if you had a novel next to your bed and you read that for 20 minutes, that's a lot more conducive to sleep than grabbing the clicker, because once you turn on the clicker and you get the face full of blue light, artificial light from the TV, it tends to stimulate stuff in your brain. And now, I mean, you might end up 2 hours not sleeping. But if you just grabbed a book, or maybe you got an app on your phone for meditation, which is something I used for a while. I mean, I find the meditation apps are a little bit greedy in terms of how much they want to charge you a month to keep them going. But I mean, get a 30-day trial of a meditation app for free and see if you like it, because that's another great way just to help you get to sleep. You know, so you can create the readiness to take advantage of opportunities. You create the readiness. One big one is ablation surgery. Like if you're in a country with socialized medicine, you might have a long wait for ablation surgery. If you're in a country where they don't have socialized medicine, or whatever, whatever the situation is, whether you can get the surgery quickly or not, whether you can afford it or not, if you're ready for the surgery with some weight loss and some cardio work, the odds of your success, the odds of that surgery paying off into a cure are directly correlated with how physically and metabolically healthy you are when you go into the surgery. Okay, so I guess one of the virtues of Canada having socialized medicine is they actually said to me, you know, like the chances are it's not going to work until you go lose weight, so we just don't want to do it. And actually that maybe that was kind of a blessing, because maybe I just was spared unnecessary surgery and unnecessary risk, and now that I am a good candidate, they're going to let me have the surgery. If I was in a place where I had insurance, it's just no insurance, I got insurance, and they would just do it. So maybe that might not have worked out. But the point is, if you're scheduled up for an ablation, you now have the opportunity to influence how successful the outcome will be by improving your metabolic health before you go in. Losing a few pounds, like the success of ablation therapy, is directly correlated to your weight loss. Okay. So you have little opportunities throughout the day. You have these big opportunities that come into your life. And again, everyone gets opportunities. Not everyone's prepared and willing to rise up to take advantage of that opportunity. And that's the mindset you need to be in. Okay. And part of what with my side channel, the Making the Shift, I try to drive that point home with, if you're trying to work out every day, if that's one of your goals, put your workout clothes out the night before. I mean, that's an easy mental, emotional thing because it's not taxing to do that. It only takes 30 seconds. You're not actually going to work out. That's what requires a discipline. No, you're just putting out your clothes the night before. In the morning, you're going to put those clothes on. That's the only two promises. These are small. So now you're ready for the opportunity to work out. And something happens almost universally when they actually put the clothes on and they're wearing the clothes for 2 minutes. You suddenly get the urge to work out because now you're in the mindset to work out. So you sort of flip the script on yourself, but you create the opportunity and then you can take advantage of the opportunity. Okay. Um, so again, just to wrap that up, you have to be ready for opportunities to take advantage of them with health, with diet, exercise. Part of creating that readiness in your mind, though, is the frame of mind that you start in. Let's go to some comments here. Oh, look who's on. Hey, you should be in bed, said. But if you're up watching something, I'm glad it's me. I'm glad it's me. And from Gail, time is free. Look for no yoga nidra for sleeping. I pronounce that right? I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm really sorry if I did, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, yoga and AFib actually they're a good pair. It's right up there with walking in my mind. The two best exercises for AFibers are walking and yoga, and there's lots of studies to prove it. So, Gail, you're right on. Maybe, Gail, you should do a yoga episode just aimed at focused for AFibers, helping them sleep and all that. Man, I would promote the hell out of that. I would totally do that. Medication app she recommends Insight Timer. Okay, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check that out. Thanks for that. Okay. Said, do you agree with me on opportunities come to everyone? It's the readiness and willingness to leap on those opportunities that make the difference. I honestly think you would agree with that just from watching your channel. So, part of what creates that mindset where you are ready and positive, because when you're feeling down about yourself, when you're feeling down about the world, when you feel like life's against you and an opportunity comes along, you're actually wary of it. You don't trust it. There's something there's something that makes you hesitate, and you need to get rid of that hesitation. But it's this thing you can't put your finger on, especially while you're in it. When you're in that mindset, you can't put your in it because when you're in a negative mindset, to you it feels like you're actually in a realist mindset. You might be a realist legitimately, but I find most people who think they're realistic are actually later when they look back on the decisions they made, they're actually realize they were negative. So, how do you break free of that trap, especially when you can't recognize you're in it? And I think you put your brain on a diet, especially in this day and age. You put your brain on a diet. We feed our brains a steady diet of crap. We watch reality shows for hours. I watch politics for hours sometimes, and I'm always depressed the next day if I do that. Video games are of dubious quality. I mean, the arguments that video games improve your reflexes and that, I think 20 minutes a day, yeah. 4 hours a day, no. Okay. We feed our diet as our mind a steady diet of crap, not just the content of what we watch, but the fact that the amount of time the average person can stay focused on a subject has dropped from something like 5 minutes to 40 seconds, almost as a direct result of the easy access to social media. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but certainly the inability to concentrate and listen carefully to something for more than 40 seconds is a skill I think everyone should have that we're actually as a species we're losing because we're used to short, jumpy, next talking point, next video, next mental stimulus, next eye full of drama, next ear full of outrage, whatever it is. It's a steady diet of crap, and it's hurting you. So it's something you can flip. So I actually on my YouTube, I allow myself to indulge in my politics a couple times a week. And I have a separate account that I'll do that with because I do feel it's important to keep up with politics and with the world situation. But I no longer let that drive me, and I flip back to the channels where I actually feed my diet, my mind, a good diet of stuff. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I watch right now that I want to feed myself a good diet of mental health. And actually, you'll be shocked what a week of just watching positive stuff instead of the normal stuff that you might be watching will do for you. So the first channel is, and this is a great channel. It's listenable. So if you're driving, you can just listen to it. But it's a Daily Stoic, and the Daily Stoic goes through the philosophy of Stoicism. Stoicism is so applicable in today's world. It will shock you, and the lessons are short. They're digestible. So check out YouTube at Daily Stoic. you're going to get some righteous lessons. Now, I'm not fond of a lot of his interviews because, I mean, like everyone else on YouTube, he's trying to fill content. So some of the interviews to me aren't so great. But when he goes on his monologues, you learn some stuff. And when he starts quoting philosophers of the past, you really learn some stuff. I mean, the Stoics had an amazing approach to life we could all benefit. There's another channel I like called Better Than Yesterday, and I actually named this kind of episode with that in mind. Better Than Yesterday just focuses on this guy learning one new life skill after another and then sharing the lessons. And it's very listenable, but if you watch it, it has entertaining graphics and stuff, but it's very listenable. So, Better Than Yesterday is going to put positive things into your brain rather than, I don't know, some of the junk food that we watch and we feed our mind. I also, because I have health goals, so I watch health channels. I found a couple that I like High Intensity Health is another one. I enjoy High Intensity Health. He's a straight talking guy. He's a fellow Canadian. I like to support him. I don't agree with some of the stuff. 20% of what he says I don't agree with, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm keeping my mind in the right place. The stuff I feed my mind is bringing me to into the mindset to reach my goals. That's what's important. I don't have to agree with everything this guy says. This is my powerlifting coach, the natural alpha. Travis is just starting out here, but he's laying down some good stuff. There's some good stuff, and he's just building natural 105 subscribers. But this guy, the resume on this guy, and the fact I know Travis, he grows an organic garden. He's in a community garden share. He's all about the natural life. He's a drug tested powerlifting champion. He trains champions. Very anti drug, very organic, very natural food, unprocessed food. He lives that life and has for a long time. And he has a lot to teach us all. So I know he's going to go somewhere. Another positive thing I like is your cardiology. And I like your cardiology because he's able to talk about the difficult issues without making you feel like crap about it, especially if you have AFib. Because you actually feel like you get some empathy from this guy. I mean, there's probably not an AFibber on earth who didn't wish your cardiology was his or her doctor. I mean, so that's part of giving your mind a good mental diet. So I would say if you're consuming television, if you're consuming podcasts, if you're consuming a lot of media, really sit back and ask yourself is what I'm consuming a good diet for my brain, or am I consuming the mental equivalent of Doritos, of Cheetos, of in Canada, Kraft dinner? Is that what I'm feeding my mind? And quite often where your mind goes, the body will follow. So if your mind is in a negative place all the time, your body's going to follow it there. I mean, how many people have we seen, they walk around and they seem to be able to take no there's no limit to the amount of crap they can take and put up with, and you're like, wow, this guy's a champ. But these guys, we all know their heart attacks waiting to happen as well, right? Because I mean, they get in that rut and they don't see the way out of the rut. And I mean, it becomes your normal and it changes your whole perspective. When you're in a rut, your whole perspective is based off the view from the rut. You're in the valley and you can't see what's over the mountain. And you need to go climb a mountain to see what's over and find out the real view. You get the real perspective on this world. So, and there's only one way to climb a mountain. And I know it's trite. I know you've heard it a million times, but you just take that one step. With AFibbers, you can only take small steps. And I know a lot of people who watch me, I see the demographics. I have a lot of people who watch me. They're over 80 years old. God bless you. Okay. But I promise you, if you soul search, there's something you can do today that will leave you better off at the end of the day than when you woke up. And just find something each day you can do a little bit better. Okay. And I'm rooting for you. And so if anyone has some ideas, Share them or some examples from your life of some small painless change that you've mindfully been making to improve your health that has paid off for you. Maybe it hasn't reduced your AFib as much as you'd like. But the problem with AFib is that AFib is a progressive disease. It always wants to progress. I mean, right now, I get a lot of credit for winning the battle in my body between AFib and myself. But at some point, I'll be getting older, and time conquers all. At some point, that no matter what I do, I still might go into more and more AFib episodes. That's a reality. So by I'm not out just trying to not have AFib again and not have another AFib episode. I'm also out to make the most of the time I have before perhaps that future comes in. Okay, because if you're not pushing back against your AFib comes packed with other health problems down the road. So even if you can just push back the AFib somewhat, if you can just slow it down, maybe you don't win the war, but you might prevent the secondary problems that come up. A good example is mental decline. A lot of people with AFib highly associated with cognitive decline in their later years. There's a lot of theories about that, and there's a lot of theories that say, maybe staying on blood thinners to push that off because they're thinking there's mini clots that are generated in the heart of an AFibber that get to the brain and do tiny bits of damage at a time. Whatever the theory is, I mean, you're not just pushing back against AFib, you're pushing back against the downstream effects. So even if you can't beat the AFib, you might avoid some downstream effects that you don't even know that you would have had. You're not even aware you would have had these because they never happened. So think about that and just go at it from that point. Gail, going to bed earlier has seemed to lessen my episodes. Crappy sleep, then I get it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, sleep quality for me is the most important thing. I mean, I guess my wife's had the once I had the sleep apnea diagnosis, she now understands that when I say I'm going to bed, I'm just going to bed, and she's supportive of it, and she understands the reason why. But there are times I can tell she wishes I was going to stay up longer, and she just understands that I've made sleep a big priority, and I think every AFib episode I've had, I was sleeping poorly that week. So you can't ignore sleep. I mean, you can't ignore sleep quality. You can't not get a sleep apnea test of some kind if you have AFib. You just can't not do that. It's not an option. You're just you're just asking for more trouble if you don't. So, I mean, find out for sure. So, good point, Gail. So, thanks for bringing that up. And that's really all I wanted. I wanted to get on here tonight. It was a little last minute to do the live stream, but it's looking like I'm going to be able to live stream pretty regularly Fridays. I'm not at the point where I can guarantee it, but I'm going to keep trying to do Friday nights at around this time. Um, so um, I'm going to try to schedule that as a regular thing. I really wanted to get on tonight and thank everyone, for 50,000 views. Wow, I never would have thought. I mean, compared to other channels, it's such a small number, but it just means so much to me. And just really, I've only been doing videos seriously for 6 months, so it really means a lot to me. And I think I think in the AFib community on YouTube, there's a really, I mean, there's God bless the white coats, but there's just no end of white coats. Like if you search for AFib videos, you get the same lecture over and over again. It's basically what is AFib, and they tell you what AFib is, and it's just a never-ending stream of these videos. And you have the odd gem like your cardiology, and you have some AFib patients out there that are sharing their stuff, like Steve at the AFib Patient Experience, done some wonderful videos. And I've seen AFibers um, doing videos, but I haven't had much luck finding AFib focused channels by patients that are actually active. So I just feel like there's a hole we're filling here. And I certainly don't see any of them doing live streams. I don't really see anyone doing live streams. So I think live streams are fun. I want to keep doing them, and I look forward to growing the audience for the live streams. So anyway, it has been wonderful talking to you all tonight. And I think I'm going to cap it here. And I just want to keep it positive. The message is positive that I want to drive home is even in health. Okay. We all get opportunities. It's the person who is prepared for the opportunity and willing to take the opportunity that that takes advantage of the opportunity and gets ahead. And that's just life. And we all know that. So I mean, I know life also deals you bad luck. I've certainly felt my share of that. And it's almost the same is true for that. It's a person who's prepared for it. So, I mean, and that's where the value is in a channel like the Daily Stoic, because the Daily Stoic channel will prepare you for the tough things that come in life. That's the strength of the Daily Stoic. It's it's a little workout for your mind. It's giving you a new way to look at life's challenges. And that's why I really like the Daily Stoic. And even though I probably don't agree with 30% of it, but it always makes me just sit back and reflect. And because I watch it fairly frequently, stuff will come up and I'll actually recall in real time lessons I've learned off the Daily Stoic, and it'll help me. And that's because I've fed my mind a good diet, and it's made me prepared for the curves of life. It's helped prepare me. If I was in a negative place and feeding my mind just that diet of junk food, and some of these negative things happened, I mean, I overreact to them, and I have overreacted to negative things in my life. Many times I have overreacted and catastrophized and had more anxiety than is justified, only to feel silly later. I've done that like many times. I've often had to apologize for it. So get your mind right. It's the same with weight loss. Weight loss isn't about your diet. Anyone can go on a diet. It's about getting your mind right so that you can manage your diet, and you can keep your diet, and you can resist the temptation when you need to, and you can give yourself appropriate rewards, so that you can enjoy the good things in life without going overboard. If you're in a dark place and you're feeding yourself dark thoughts from other people's heads on social media all the time, it can only take you to a darker place. And it's a lens you look out through, and it colors your world, and you don't even realize that it's colored your worldview, because that's your new normal. From where you are, you can't. If you're on the outside looking in, you would see that shaded lens you're looking out through, but you're inside looking out. So the whole world is that way, and you don't even realize it. So don't be the person down in the valley looking up at the mountains and thinking that's the edge of the world. Be the person who's took a few steps and realized, hey, there's actually something over those hills. And you can do that in simple ways. So I'm here to help. Leave a comment. I try to reply to all the comments. I'm going to apologize. There's a couple of really annoying things with the Facebook Messenger where I don't get the notice, or I have notices, and even though I answer them, the icon won't clear. It still says I have notice. I go back and it says I've answered everything. So I have these comments I know I haven't answered, but I can't find them because it's so clunky. Um, and sometimes YouTube will hide a comment from me if the AI comment moderator thinks it's a little too spicy or confuses it. But I do, as a rule, I try to reply to absolutely everyone, no matter how they message me. So people message me, Facebook slash the Big Northern Bear, they'll send messages, comment on YouTube. People send an email to bignorthernbear at gmail.com. You can do that. I try to answer everyone, and I try to hear their stories. And when people take the time to write 3 or 4 paragraphs, I read every word. I know I give a short reply sometimes, but you got to understand, I have an extremely busy job. I do the channel as a part time thing. I have limited time, but I try to reply in such a way that I let you know I've read your message and understood your message. And like they say in Avatar, I see you. By see, I don't mean I just notice you're in the room. I mean, I'm seeing you. I'm seeing your pain. I'm seeing your struggle. And I'm seeing how you overcome. In that movie Avatar, that's what they mean when they say, I see you. It's got nothing to do with the fact they notice you're there. It means they've seen into your heart and recognized your potential, and recognized where you come from, or recognize what you've overcome. So when people leave their comments, that's what I feel like. I get it, man. I know where you're at. Question from Ray. Do you drink alcohol at all? No, Ray. Honestly, I haven't had alcohol since January in wave one of the pandemic. Since when I had my first, it was the January right before wave one. When wave one was just showing its head, is when I had my first AFib attack. I haven't had a drink since. The only thing I've had now and then, I get this Snowdonia brand cheese, and it's a big wheel of old aged cheddar, and they put like 3 drops of port to just give it a bit of flavor. And sometimes I'll enjoy that. And I also have 0.05% fake beer that I'll bring on family dinners, and that just don't, so I don't feel like a schmuck spoiling the party. But there's basically no alcohol in that, so I legit haven't had a drink in over 2 years. And I know I read, especially in the Facebook groups I'm in, people are drinking, alcohol, and they're like, "Well, I've cut back," and that's fine. And they also still go into AFib. It's usually the same people, I cut back to a glass of wine, but I just can't make myself give it up. I get it, man. I get it. I was the same way about my crap diet. I couldn't give up. AFib was not enough to get me to give up my shit diet. It just wasn't enough. Then when I got diabetes too, I had high blood pressure, and AFib wasn't enough. When I got diabetes too, that finally pushed me over the edge. So I get it. I'm a hard learner. I'm a hard learner, but I've always been that way. Unfortunately, I've always quite often been the kind of person who has to hit the bottom before they start fighting. But once they start fighting, man, I usually go. I'm in it to win it, and that's how I've been with my weight loss. I'm in it to win it. So trying to quit, and it's hard. Seems to trigger my AFib. Yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, especially the old, I can just have one, right? Ray, if it makes you feel better, man, like about 4 nights ago, I couldn't sleep. So I just, sometimes when I can't sleep, I just have to have a carbohydrate. And just having that one hard carbohydrate ended up eating like, I don't know, 600 or 700 calories of crap. And woke up the next day, got on a scale, and regretted it. And it's the same with drinking. I mean, I'm just gonna have one. I'm at a party, and then you have a couple, and you wake up the next day regretting it, or maybe in your case, you're going into AFib, you regret it. Um, so there's a learning experience there for you, my friend. And again, I'm not judging, man. I get it. I understand it. I have my own vices, but a vice of mine just doesn't happen to be alcohol. I had no actually for me to give up alcohol was like no problem. I literally would get drunk once or twice a year, and that was it. I wasn't really big on alcohol, so it was no problem for me to give it up. But you take away my crappy diet, man, that was rough. So what some people do with alcohol is something they do socially. They get together socially. Well, for me, it was with food, and alcohol was the way to celebrate. And for me, I celebrated with food. And when some people, when they have stress, they drink the alcohol. Me, when I have stress, I deal with it with food, and it's like, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, we're both killing ourselves, right? Like we're both helping our aphid progress. So so I see you, man. I get it. I get it. I don't have an easy answer for you though. I don't, except maybe the best thing, unlike food, the one thing I'm almost jealous of people who have no problem with diet but can't give up the alcohol, because actually, unlike food, you can actually just never drink, and so you can cut it out from your life completely. Where food, you actually have to have some. So I don't know. I don't know if that makes it harder or easier. I honestly don't know. But Sometimes in my mind, I think that way. I've been a boozer for 30 years. Problem is everything we do, me and my wife, with other couples. Yeah, yeah. You know, twice in my life, I've made a major life change and improved my health greatly. And in both cases, um, my friends didn't make the journey with me. I ended up with a new social group. So, for what it's worth, and I didn't want to give those friends up, but it just when I really dug in and insisted, no, this is how I'm doing my life now. Um, the invitations to get together just sort of drifted off, right? So, um, I I would say just like I have my wife hide the peanut butter. Um, maybe you should just let your friends know I want to get together with you, but only if there's no drinking involved, because I'm really having a problem with it. It's really setting off my heart, and just lay it on the table. And if they're really your friends, they'll be good with it. I mean, it's a tough decision. It's a tough call only you can make. But I think you need to be selfish and put yourself first for treating your AFib. There's a right time to be selfish, and this is one of those times. Be selfish with your sleep. Be selfish with your health, because you give this stuff away and you can never get it back. Just never get it back. So, Ray, thanks for sharing, man. Thanks for that piece of honesty. It's much appreciated. I mean, that's a beautiful thing about this format is people that I've never met in real life. I mean, we can just be honest with each other, and we can air it out. And anyone else in a similar situation can just tune in later on and listen, and maybe find something that helps them. And that's the kind of legacy I'd like to leave behind. So, live well, Ray. Live well, man. You're in that valley looking out at the mountains right now. You can't you In your world, you can't see that there's actually something over that mountain. So, I'm rooting for you, man. Yeah, I'm rooting for you. You're welcome. I'm rooting for you. And I'm here for you too, man. Just send an email or something if times are tough. Go ahead. I'll answer when I can. So, okay. Everyone, I think on that note, I'm going to play us out. I don't have any kind of fancy exit tonight for the show, but I'm really glad everyone came. And I feel good talking to you all. I'm actually feeling comfortable on live streams now. It took a while. I was always nervous, but I'm actually feeling comfortable now. So hope it shows. I hope I can bring up the quality for the next live stream I'm planning to have on Friday, and I plan to be better prepared. This one was sort of last minute, and I got some good news this week. We're upgrading the internet at the house. My internet's going to be 20 times faster for uploads, and that's just going to make it so much easier for me to make videos. I can't explain my whole process for making videos, but I'll be uploading stuff into Canva, like videos, and I'll do some mixing in Canva. Then I have to download it, and I'll do some in DaVinci Resolve on my desktop. And so quite often I'm just hamstrung by. I mean, I can download like crazy, but to upload something just seems to take forever. So it's like I feel like the handcuffs are coming off, and it's only going to help the live stream quality too, to have that super fast upload speed. So I'm really excited for that coming Monday. I made him go live spontaneously just to celebrate the faster speed. But for sure, Friday I want to do a live stream, and I know my wife is watching. And happy birthday! Her birthday's in a few days, so happy birthday! Love you, babe. And I just want to put that out there at the end of the show. So thank you all for watching. Thanks, Gail. Much appreciated. Gail, you're like my support. My stepdaughter says that you're one of my day oneers. Apparently, that's a term for people who have been, with you since you first started. So thanks for being a day oneer. I just learned that term, so I think that's a great term. I'm a day oneer for a lot of other channels and that I follow. So yeah, oh, cool. Okay, everyone, have a great night. I think I'll use the intro just to play us out, and wish you all the best. Take care.
And sometimes you just gotta believe There's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious